Hello, good evening. Welcome to the JACKOCAR Cup Series, as we now have to call it, because it's him who's given the call to go again for round 9 of season 11 here in Brazil. I am your commentator, Owen Wyatt. With me, I do have Jacko, who's just put up a very exciting tweet to celebrate Michael Okke's 200th race across his career in Cup and Kia. And we celebrate that with him not being in the lobby yet. He'll join mid-qualifying, which is just typical, isn't it? We have only got 17 drivers as of now. I know, we're falling off again, but oh no. What can you do, Jacko? What can you do?
Well, clearly not a lot. Hello everybody. I sure do hope OKK actually turns up this week, because it would be a great shame if I post that tweet and then he doesn't. So it ends up being 200 next week when we go to, Hungary? Which I think is Thursday. Of course, there's no Tuesday race next week because someone's going on holiday.
Although on the calendar I've got, it does say we've got a Tuesday race. Do we not just take a week off?
I will have to check that.
On the calendar I have in front of me, we are here on the 6th of February, which is today, and then the next race is the 18th of February, which will be Hungary.
Oh, hang on.
So, hold on here.
Well,
there's a big holiday period coming here. Don't take this away from me.
Oh no, you are correct, yeah. The next race is the 18th. Well, that's bloody marvellous. That works out perfectly. That's what we want.
Yes. So we...
So, don't know me own holiday. And here's us like 2 minutes saying how professional we are now.
I know, unbelievable. Here comes Matt Lester at the pits to kick off this qualifying session on a track which has produced 2 very exciting races here in the Cup Series in F1 2020 in the past. We are expecting another one tonight, especially after the recent duds in Spain and in Spa. We were also saying before the stream that you have to have the odd dud, and we do tend to have 1 or 2 a season, so hopefully we're getting over that now. And on a track where you can definitely do a lot more high quality racing, the DRS is a lot more usable here. So fingers crossed, we'll see some good racing this week. It's still throwback week.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to work out some liveries again, Jacko.
Again, a handful have given me the what they're running, but another handful have not, including this man, Matt Lester. I was going to say something else as well. Oh yes, about dud races. We're here at JACKOCAR, we're not afraid to admit it when we have a bad race, but other leagues will try and hype up a shit race. Anyway, here's a lap of Interlagos, make it sound interesting.
I will try my best. Into the Senna S comes Lesty in the black and yellow car, which has gone straight off the track. He's not invalidated though, so he gets away with it, although it won't help the speed for turn 3. This is where you're going to see a lot of the racing tonight. I believe it was risky here one year. It was able to overtake a car every lap into here because of the DRS. It was very much a good zone for it. But yes, we're going to assume this is a Renault again that Lesty's running. I can't think of any other cars. Maybe a Jordan, but it has too much black on it. But who really cares? As through the middle sector, turns 9 and 10 coming up. Easy to lock up into 10, so just be careful you actually hit the apex, which Lesty hasn't done. It is a tricky zone. Turn 12 coming up. We've seen a few disasters into here over the years. Don't get on the inside curb there, you will have problems on the exit. And it's all flat out, all the way up to the DRS, which is there. And just a kink, stay to the inside, don't hit the wall, and cross the line. 1 minute 9.1, that's nowhere near fast enough for pole position. The last 2 times we were here, pole position was in Season 2, Jimmy Wright, a 1 minute 6.967. And in Season 3, it was ERT Josh with a 106.606. So we're expecting to be in the 106s, or maybe even the 105s if they're really on it, but I'd be surprised if we get there.
Famously, that race where Josh took pole, he then retired, I believe, somewhere halfway through the race.
Right here
from
it
the
was.
lead.
He just sort of rear-ended someone after the pits, I think.
Yeah, very, very odd crash to have. Josh can't say his name, John Fletcher. One race or one start wonder in JACKOCAR. We've had many of them. Nathan, Samba, another one. And then, of course, some lesser-known names. There's some JACKOCAR trivia for you. Here's the one-time starters: Alpha Hamlin, Thomas Nevitt, Louis Delatraz, obviously in there, Wim Visser, Daniel Price, and Marco Schneider. But here is the remainder of Dustin Rolko's lap. He's had more than one race now. He's also had 4 DNFs this season, so he'll be looking to do something here in Brazil as he does go pole and gets a little bit closer to that. Jamie Wright, pole time of season 2. Jamie Wright, of course, will be interested in the fact that there is rain on the horizon in the race, Owen.
Oh, well, we've been saying it the last couple of weeks, when are we going to finally get the full-on wet race, and maybe we'll see a bit more impactful rain, maybe we have intermediates or wets during the course of this event. I've no idea what Dustin's livery was meant to be. It was just sort of black and red. It could be a Mauritia or something, I don't know, or a Virgin, or anything really. As can this. It's a shame we don't have the sponsors, let's say, on this car, because I bet many people have designed their cars around having the sponsors. This could be a spiker or something, I don't know. I'm just assuming based on F1s, but maybe there's some NASCAR livery. Is it a spiker? There you go.
Yeah.
Way faster than a spiker ever would have gone around here. He's gone up to P1.
Yep, and as we always say, from one German to another. Never mind, he's invalidated. It's Robin Border. Any quick guesses on this? It's white. That's about the best I can do for you.
I mean,
probably a brawn, maybe.
Maybe, but I mean, Baz has proven you can do a lot better than this for a brawn. So, but I don't know what else it's meant to be. It's got the 22 on it as well. It's got the brawn colours on the helmet. It has to be a brawn, really, doesn't it, for Robin? I forgot to mention, I don't know if I actually named Florian, just in case you didn't know who that was. That was Florian who went fastest. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, don't know. It must be a brawn. Just a pretty bare, basic one. I don't know. Let's see what Michael O'Keefe's running. Oh wait, he's not here. So yeah, it's not going well. This is not going well for him, which means we actually now have to sit and wait for Ben Harrett to come out of the pits, and that loads of him on his Joker attempt. So no pressure whatsoever here. And is this a different livery to the one he ran the other night?
This is the same, isn't it?
Is it the same? Is this
Did we not have a discussion that this was a
Jordan? I think. Well, that's what I was
or the early Jordan. Yeah.
I thought it was Ben Shaw who was having this argument.
No, that was the Leighton House, because he ran the same as Gareth, who you then decided was actually running a Benetton.
Yes. Okay, I remember now. And this one was the 7-Up Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay. Still looks awful, doesn't it? It's too dark, I think. Which here's a point. The sun's out. You can actually see the liveries in this qualifying session, so enjoy it while it lasts before seemingly the rain comes in the race. But yes, you are right, Jack. This is the Joker lap.
Indeed. Of course, Ben Harrett has previously won a Joker in the Cup Series as well as multiple in the Kia Series. It was that famous night when me and Bazza were commentating and then forgot that the Joker was way out in the lead. Ben Harrett, why is he not pitted? Why is he not pitted with 4 laps to go? And then it suddenly clicked with Bazza. He's like, hang on, he's the Joker. And he went on to win that race, protected by his boyfriend, Jake O'Sullivan, of course. Ben Harrett would, I believe it's 4 wins in the Cup Series now, unless I'm corrected. I won't be corrected because it is 4 wins, 7 in the Kia Series, plus the Season 8 Championship. The last ever Kia Series champion. Thank God. The best thing we ever did was get rid of that bloody awful tear. But here he is then. Final real corner for Ben Harrett. He has gone purple, as ever. We ignore that. But the run up the hill. And where will Ben Harrett go on Joker night? He is going to start on soft tyres, or that certainly seems to be the way he wants to go. It is P1 for now. What will he do in the race? Keep your eye on him all evening.
Right, we're on board with Bazza, who must be in the MP4, right? The MP4-4. The McLaren, he's got the Senna helmet on, so it must be what this is.
He's done a good job. He's so good at liveries, he's one of the best.
I know, he almost makes me look bad, doesn't he? That's ridiculous, that. He's a talented bloke, is Mr. Bazza, as he heads up the hill, and that might be the only livery I look at, apart from the Spiker, but in fairness, that was just a guess. I knew that was going to be a McLaren the second I saw it, but yeah. There's my highlight of the night, that. And across the line in P3, so not really living up to the car's legacy, but oh well, he's still got time in the race. Next up, we've got Sullivan, who's crossing the line now, only just seeing the end of his lap. Any idea what that is?
P4 as well. 2006 McLaren.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I haven't a clue what that is. I really
know what the next one is.
Shall we look at it then? Because Gareth put this in the chat, didn't he? I forget exactly what it was. This is a NASCAR one, so I'll let you describe it.
Yeah, so it's when Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was driving for Roush Fenway Racing, when it was called Roush Fenway, the number 17 car, I believe. So this is the one that's sponsored by Tide, but I believe, Tide and Sunny D. This, I think, is the one that won Ricky the Daytona 500 or the Geico 500. I really can't quite remember. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr., famous for winning on super speedways, something that Gareth hasn't done in JACKOCAR. Of course, the super speedway to come later on this season. It is back. We do return to France for one last time. But Gareth all leading the bottom 10 as it stands. He wants to do Project Chase in season 11. What will he do here in qualifying this evening? He goes P2 behind Ben Harrott in that 89 car.
See, when you were saying that there was talk of rain, is that definitely for the race or is it qualifying as well? Because
in the race.
It's getting
in the race.
It's definitely getting dark again in a qualifying session here. Over the course of the last sort of minute or so, it's very much become quite dark. Now, we're watching Mike.
Unless I've been misinformed.
Yeah, because the grey clouds are very much forming here as Mike drifts out of the final corner. Now, this also is a spiker, isn't it? I'm going to say this is a pre-season version because it was too orange, it looked red on the camera. And if that isn't what that's meant to be, it now is, as he goes third fastest. I'm backing myself on that one. That's what that's meant to be. It has to be. Why the hell else would it be that colour?
Casper's telling me it's 5 minutes until the rain comes. I think that's going to be all too late. So maybe it is qualifying we're getting the rain.
Well, that would make this lap in what must be a Lotus for Pete Knighton potentially vital, because he is one of the faster drivers out there. He already won this race in season 3, and he very much has pace. And if the rain comes, he could find himself on pole position if he gets this right. So Pete Knighton up towards the line. He should go fastest. He does. Not into the 1 minute 6s yet. Will we have time to get there? Because it is definitely getting dark out there. Kieran Spears next up. Is he still on pad, do we know?
You know what, I was just going to say, I'm not sure if he's on pad or wheel. Driving like that, I'd say he's on wheel. Looking at it, but you never know. I can tell you, however, this is a 2009 Toyota. Make of that what you will.
I was going to say it's more sort of Super Guri, I thought, when I saw that.
Yeah. Oh,
very drifty. Very, very drifty. That was remarkable. It was worse than what Mike managed to do, and that was also pretty dramatic. 1 minute 7.2 to beat. He looks good, and he has beaten it, as Kieran Spears. Jimmy Wright, who won his first of 2 titles here in Season 2. He's next up in... Oh, what could this be? I mean, there's so many cars that run this colour scheme.
Yeah, he's not told me either, so we are guessing.
Could be a Toyota Gazoo.
The
That's the first one I think of.
Jamie Wright. Is that raindrops on his helmet as well? Or was that just how the graphics look on?
That's just how his helmet design looks, to be honest. But he's got some speed. He's just gone fastest. He's beaten his pole time from Season 2. Not quite on Josh's pace from Season 3, but very much looking good for pole position. I have to say that was very impressive indeed. As we see Casper coming round. Now, is this an Earth Dreams?
Let me check my DMs.
Will he be doing this to make me, I don't know, proud or something? He likes impressing me with liveries.
He says the number 72 returns. Now, he was number 72 when he was full time, right?
Well, I do see the 72 on there.
Is this a throwback to his old liveries, perhaps?
He's had so many liveries.
One of his own.
he changes his livery every 5 minutes, though, doesn't he? That's the problem. So it's hard to tell what's new and what's not. I don't recall ever seeing him in these colours, to be honest. They look good, though. It certainly stands out. I'd love to know what it's meant to be. I'm going to guess Earth Dream's machine, as he gets it all wrong at the top of the hill. That was understeering at the top of turn 7, and he just didn't seem to recognise he was going to leave the track limit, and it's cost him the lap. So we shall now move on to Tony, who's running a car.
He's not.
Is it a 40?
He's not told me.
Looks like a 40, to be honest. Or maybe an old Minardi, when they used to do yellow ones.
Maybe, yeah. Don't forget, VAR briefly ran yellow and blue in 2004.
Yeah, although
very briefly.
Would have needed a bit more detail than that, though, wouldn't it? I think they were going to do that. I know which one you're on about. The Subaru colours.
Yep, 555.
You'd almost have to reverse the colours on that to make that work. But anyway, who cares what it looks like? Let's see if it's fast. Having seen it go wrong for Casper, he may well have a little bit of confidence that he can set a competitive time. He was beefing with Corey about this, I believe, during the week, but he's not even beaten Jamie Wright. He's only gone on to second fastest. So we'll move on to Jake O'Sullivan, who we last saw in this livery on Tuesday. This is, what was it, the 1964 Ferrari, when they decided they were going to run blue in protest for something or other. And it disappointed everyone in Miami this year when they didn't bring this back, because they were hyping up the blue livery. They didn't do this. We've been through this story. It was hideous. But this looks quite nice, despite how basic it is. It's a faithful, rare recreation. But has it got any speed? Across the line, P2 for Jake O'Sullivan.
Wow. Say nothing. First time in well over 3 years. And now wouldn't that be something? But Johannes, fastest in Sector 1. Now correct me if I'm wrong, when they go fastest in Sector 1, that is not a game glitch. But who knows what the German can do? Owen White is making noises.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out if you're right or not, because I don't even know why I bother showing the map, to be honest, these days, but it doesn't really tell us anything in qualifying. But anyway, down the hill, if this is like a low 50s in the middle sector, which it just about is, then I think this is looking good. So Johannes up the hill. I'm just going to claim it's a Renault again, because what the hell else is it? I don't know. DRS Open.
1999 Opel from the DTM.
Fair enough.
That's what it.
It's gone fourth fastest. That's what it is. The fourth fastest car. I thought that was a better looking time, to be honest. But it's about to be blown out of the water here, isn't it? By Corey Dalton. We keep saying him just push the boundaries further and further. Apart from when he pushed it too far in Spa and just crashed into the car in front of him. It's raining a little bit. I wonder if that's going to affect him. I bet he'll use this as the excuse.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just point out, I'm pretty sure this is a default livery. I was looking through the livery set earlier, and I swear to God this is a default livery. Why is he not being banned? This is throwback week.
Correct you. They are default colours, but the livery is editable, and of course it is now raining, so because it's editable, Corey can get away with it. If you couldn't edit it, he would be receiving many race bans. But Corey Dalton, he's been on pole one time this season with 3 wins to go to his name. Oh, he's on pole again.
That's a demoraliser.
A 10.5 on Jamie Wright. How about that?
In the rain. That is a demoralising lap time. It is the quickest time we've ever seen in the Cup Series here in Sao Paulo. And the rain wasn't enough to put him off. That needed the composure of a champion. And he's very much ruined Jamie Wright's day. But if we're expecting any rain in the race, did he? I know you didn't clock the qualifying until the end. Did he actually say race it would rain?
I can go back and check.
Because this would be typical if we get to the end of a session once again this season. It starts spitting with rain and it makes no difference. It's becoming a real theme of this game this season. We may find out in a moment when we come back to the pits and find on the grid that it's tipping it time, but we'll find out momentarily, I'm sure.
Kieran's saying they don't know, which is not really helpful.
Why even say that?
So it's very unhelpful. It's more unhelpful than not knowing. But Owen, run us through the order, and then hopefully by the time you've done that, I'll have an answer.
So, Corey Dalton on pole. The rain didn't ruin his day. Jimmy Wright in second place, front row of the grid. Jake in third, Tony fourth, Johannes fifth, Kieran sixth, Pete seventh, Ben Harrer, our Joker, in eighth, Gareth ninth, and Mike 10th, Florian 11th, Bazza 12th, Risky 13th, Dustin 14th, Lesty in 15th. We had 3 drivers not set a time. Robin, OKK, who only just joined halfway through the session, and Casper, who's gone and bottled it on his return, unfortunately, for him.
Yep.
And it looks just overcast, really, doesn't it, for this?
Kieran's now asking another unuseful question. Don't you want it to be a surprise? The answer is no. Like back in the day, we would want the surprise, but now...
No rain by the
like
looks of it, he says, no. Well, there you go.
But
Pack it up.
But yes, Owen, it does look overcast.
So,
Pack up and go, Owen.
yeah, so all that means we've got overcast, which means once again we're barely going to see these liveries in their full form. So thanks, Codemasters. Appreciate it. Absolute waste of time.
Right. Yeah, why do we bother? And yet there's talk of season 12 as well. I don't think so.
Not after this. I don't know. The last 7 days are critical to the JACKOCAR Cup Series demise.
I am excited to see Jamie Wright on the front row. Not pole, but on the front row. What can he do against Corey Dalton?
This front
That'll be
row,
fascinating, of course.
I think front row's the inside as well, so he'll certainly send it, surely.
I hope he does. Give him a race. Give us a race.
I know, for goodness sake, we've tried hard enough to make the last 2 interesting. Make my job easier this week, please.
But of course, Jamie Wright stuck on 19 wins and has been for some time. He is level with Jake O'Sullivan, so if he gets one more, he goes clear. And speaking of other things that are close in all-time stats, Arnaud de Grief is catching up to the back of Ben Shaw in all-time. Is 24 points behind Ben Shaw. However,
they're both not here.
Neither of them are here. Yeah. So we'll save that one for the 18th of February when we come back.
I think I'm getting better at stats than you now. Do your own calendar. You're talking about drivers who aren't here. Unbelievable. What's next?
Well, of the drivers that are here, all time, the points leader is Kieran Spears, 1,295 points over his 8 seasons that he's been with us.
God, that's
9
tragic.
seasons even, Jesus. Yeah. 13 wins for Kieran and 128 starts, including tonight. But it is Corey Dalton that will lead us away with the green flag. Of course, stage points come at lap 5 and 29. One joker is Ben Harrett, and Owen White is going to talk us around the rest of this formation map.
Happy 200th race, Michael OKK. We're on board. I mean, it's technically a throwback livery to his own livery that he used back in the day, but I don't think this is a livery he wanted to run. But we'll claim it's a throwback livery because it is, in a sense. So, yes, he is here. He's ready to race, hopefully. And we'll see him a bit throughout the event. Please try and get near the front. It'd be great to see him there for once. I'm getting a bit. It's a bit like the Pete Knighton jokes. 170 races, isn't it, since he last won? We just want to see them get near the front now. It's getting a bit boring. We've got 4 drivers, by the way, on mediums. So that's the only things to really note on this.
Do you want to know how long it's been since OKK last won in the Cup Series?
Yeah.
154 races.
I should have guessed that, really. I probably could have guessed that. I don't know why I didn't try and guess that. Very long, though, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Was a race winner in the Kia Series last season. But whilst we're on the topic of it, Pete Norton 170 since he last tasted victory in the Cup Series. But once again, JACKOCAR is back on a Thursday night. It's Brazil, it's live, and let's get going for another round of the Cup Series. Of course, there is the Club Car Shootout to worry about as well.
Last two winners here were Riley, I think his only win in the Cup Series, and that was in Season 2. Then Jimmy Wright won his first title, then Jimmy Wright himself won the Season 3 race. Although Jimmy Wright, I mean, he was the lucky man to not be taken out by Pete, who took everyone else out on that occasion. How are we going to handle Season 11's edition? We've got 5 lights on. Jimmy Wright's on the inside. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. It looks like a decent start from the Season 2 champion. He's straight into the lead. And look at Jake O'Sullivan as well, coming through on Corey Dalton. He just did not get off the line at all. But good fight back from the multiple-time race winner this season. He's been able to hold on to second place Corey, and that's going to invite pressure from Tony now to challenge around the outside. He should be able to get through here on Jake, and he has. Tony just who did I say that was going through? My whole order's gone. Johannes, sorry, getting through.
Johannes.
And then Tony behind Jake still. So that's Johannes at the third, Jimmy right up into the top position. I said he had the inside line, although he didn't really need it. He flew off the line.
Sure did. Corey had a massive bog down on the line. Jamie Wright just straight up the inside even before turn 1. Yellow flags, early doors, safety car is out.
Don't know what the incident was really. Mike Kelterborn's lost his whole front wing, and Dustin's lost half of his front wing, so they must have had some sort of coming together. Has Lesty got damage as well? I'm trying to spot. Yes, he does. So a handful of cars in trouble there. 36 lap long race, as Jacko said, stages lap 5 and 29, so very much bookending the race with these. And a pit stop for Tony. Did he pick up damage? I didn't see him have any sort of incident. Is this tactical? Could very much be tactical. I don't see a front wing coming out, so a tactical, non-mandatory of course, pit stop.
Oh.
And OKK's already managed to speed. It's early days, you'll be able to take that penalty off throughout the race. We may get more safety cars, so that might not be the end of the world. But this is really interesting for Tony, because I was just saying about the stages. You've got to make 2 sets of tyres last until lap 29. So is he going to go now mediums until, I don't know, let's say lap 14, 15, pit for some more mediums, go to lap 30 and stick some fresh softs on, and that means he doesn't have to worry about hards or anything like that. This could be a potential race winning strategy. The problem he's got is obviously he's restarting this race from the back, and he still has to make 2 pit stops, so it's whether he has the better tyre longevity and doesn't have to burn a set of hards basically in the middle of this race. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. I hope it works for him, because it's very rare we see this sort of strategy, isn't it, in the Cup Series these days, where we see a lap 1 pit stop, intentional for strategy. Granted, he wouldn't have done it if there was no safety car, I get that, but yeah, tactics, interesting. I want to see this work out for him.
It's even rarer to see one of the big names drop out from the front of the race to you know, voluntarily put yourself down in P15 is not common. Meanwhile, the Joker Ben Harrah, who has notably had a shocking season, I did just swear. It happens.
Had an accident here.
A shocking season so far, but Ben Harrah will be happy with this. P7 on his Joker. He's in a very, very good place.
Dustin and Robin have had it coming together here, and they've both got penalties for it. I've also noticed that Florian and Baza have front wing damage as well, so there must have been some sort of like accordion effect where they all just smash into each other. In I think it was turn 9, it all went wrong. I know you're loving it now, aren't you? But yes.
Michael OKK back in the pits, by the way. He's going for 200 pit stops.
Taking the penalty. Race. That's what that'll be, taking the penalty. And he gets some nice fresh soft compound tyres on. And yes, you're right to mention Ben Harrah, of course, gaining the position off the start, not having any trouble, and let's just hope he can keep his nose clean for a bit, see how his strategy unfolds here, and we may well be seeing the safety car in lap. It depends on if Michael can catch up on onto the back of the field in time.
Regardless of whether it goes in or not, we will see Jamie Wright come round to lead this lap. It will be the 400th lap led in his career here in the Cup Series.
Exciting stuff. Let's see if the lights go out. I would have thought they would, because Michael is pretty close. I mean, it may not go off at the bottom of the hill, but we're actually a long way from the pits, and actually it has. So, Jamie, I've got to say, these colours are looking very nice on his car. I know it's a throwback weakness, but I'm going to suggest it. I think you might need to keep these colours, Jamie. It looks a lot better than your standard livery, and it might bring you a bit more luck as well. Cue the accident on the restart, but he knows how to do a restart in the Cup Series. He's been here many times before. And as he comes round the final kink, he gets his foot down, and he's well clear of Corey. Perfect restart, and we're on to lap 4. Elsewhere, Ben Harrett was close to the back of P9, didn't fancy to move. Behind him, Gareth and Risky are side by side, battling away for P8. This is Risky, the highest runner, who started on mediums. Look how wide Bazza's going there for turn 3. There's the front wing damage really coming into effect there. And you can see Robin coming through on Florian. He's not got damage, but he has got a penalty for a contact he had earlier. Casper now also coming through on Florian. So getting through the damaged cars is difficult, as Robin nearly hits the back of Bazza, and Casper then comes through. So look at Tony, already up into P12 also. So that is progress made from him that is good, but if he can get himself in front of Casper and Risky, I think he'll feel a lot better about how this is going. A slide like that won't help very much, though.
Yeah, that's what I picked up on. I was on board with him at the time. Tony sideways, but 3 positions gained on this lap. He's following Casper through, who will be looking to get, or dispatching, of Robin Border very shortly with that little bit of damage he's carrying. In fact, he's closing now. This will be done by turn 1 and back into the top 10 for the first time since he... No, never mind, Casper. He's gone soft in his old age. Since he left the league, as I was going to say. But he stays P11 for now.
Here comes Gareth on Ben Harrett. He thought about it, but he's trying to be sensible for now. He knows he's racing a Joker driver, so that might just cause him a little bit of caution. Bazza, Dustin, Florian and Lesty have all made their first mandatory stops, and they could all be on the hards, and this is what I was worrying about. Are people going to have to run the hards in the middle stint? This isn't like F124 where hards are quite nice to drive. They're okay, but they're not really what you want to be running on a 2-stop race here. So yeah, well, we'll see how that all pans out. Up the front, it's going to be the stage for Jamie Wright, 3 tenths ahead of Corey, who's very close, setting the fastest lap. And Kieran, uncharacteristically, making an early stop. He's normally the one who makes the latest stop of the front runners, so that's interesting. We'll see how that pans out. He's gone onto hard compound tyres as well. Jamie Wright defending the inside of turn 4 and holding on to his lead. That's the way to do it. Here comes Tony on Robin. Contact, but they get through the corner. Corey still pressuring Jamie. There's no real point doing it here, and he may have exceeded track limits as well out of turn 7, so don't be too hasty in this. There's a very long race, and penalties will come into play.
Sure will, Owen. I'm actually just trying to find the last time Jamie Wright won a race.
Right.
And I'm having to go all the way back to season 7.
Was it China?
Round 3 in the Netherlands, I believe.
Close. But he won the season opener, didn't he, in China? And then... Yeah, he must have won.
And then obviously round 3, and then never again. Season 7. But he's being harassed by Corey Dalton here, who's teasing him as they enter turn 1. But Johannes and Jake O'Sullivan are catching up. There's very much a 4-car battle for the race lead, or it will be very soon, once Jake gets his skates on. Pete Knight and Happy in P5. Ben Harrett defending from Gareth Hall, but Sullivan has caught back up to this little group. And here is Gareth again. What will he do? Nothing. Just a little side swipe into the mirrors, just to let Ben Harrett know that he is still very much there.
Good pace from Sullivan here, as Gareth again looks up the inside of Ben. He doesn't want to get held up here too much, because he's actually got nearly a 2-second gap to Tony. which he'll be quite happy with, Sullivan. So if he can get through these two, I think he'll be feeling relatively confident of a decent result because he's making these mediums work. So we'll keep an eye on this, although Tony, I think he is going to catch, because when you're stuck behind the 2 cars in front of you like this, there's just nothing you can do, and that will invite Tony and Casper into the fight, so that'll be fascinating to see how those 3 on those mediums get on. Mike's a bit further back from them, so we'll see what happens with that. But up the front, Corey, he's quite low on ERS, but so is Jamie. They have been pushing. And Jake, as usual, is the one in that leading train that has the most DRS. But here comes Corey, going to go for the outside into turn 4, and he's going to take the lead of the race. That was very easy.
Yeah. And not much of a fight from Jamie Wright. Maybe he knows he's got the pace to catch back up. He had been defending well on the main straight. Yeah. Tyres could be gone. They are all on the same tyres up the front of the race, though. Maybe, but Jamie Wright, he's not slow. So this is just an early bit of Corey pace that we're seeing.
Indeed, as we see a few penalties being picked up. KK and Lesty picking 3-second penalties up, but yeah, let's see. Are we going to see pit stops from the leading pack? Not from the front 2, 3 or 4. So that does really demonstrate just how early Kieran's pit stop was. So we'll need to keep an eye on him. He's in free air in 14th place on his hards, but it was a mandatory stop he made. He is getting some sort of undercut. The tyres may not be all that good, but at some point they'll improve. As look at this, Gareth coming right outside of turn 2, and Risky following him to get up into 5th and 7th, but Johannes almost getting through on Jamie Wright as well for 2nd place. Risky has done. That is crucial for his race. Can he pull away? If he can, he is really looking good for a result here, I'm telling you.
Yep. And by the way, I'm looking at the Jamie Wright possible win for later on tonight. If it happens, 721 days or 75 Cup Series races since he was last on the top step. But this battle for P6, as you mentioned, Owen, has certainly come alive, especially now that Casper and Tony are very much there. By the way, Tony in front of Casper. We missed that one.
No, we didn't.
But they are... Didn't? Well, I did. My head was down.
Right, well, not this move for 2nd place. In fact, possibly move for 2nd place and for 3rd place. This could be free wide into turn 1. And Jimmy Wright, sadly, it has to be said, has been shuffled down the order, and he's into 4th place now. Johannes 2nd and Jake 3rd. Back to Tony, coming through on Ben Harrett, and that's for 8th place. And Johannes didn't get into DRS of Corey either, and... well, that's exactly what Corey is looking for, isn't it? He may well just disappear, to be honest.
Boring. It's happening again,
It's
Owen.
happening again. Oh, well, what can you do? He's just faster than everyone, isn't he? This is just...
Yeah.
I did say it in the chat earlier this week. I says the JACKOCAR format does have its ways of, even a dominant driver like Corey has its ways of messing them up. So don't be watching these constant performances every week and just assume he's going to walk away with the title. That's not how this works, trust me. As we lose Mike from the lobby, hopefully he can get back in soon. But yeah, Corey, he'll be leading by 1.5 seconds nearly by the end of the lap. And the problem he's going to have, Johannes, is that he can only look behind him now, because here comes Jake O'Sullivan, and he'll pass him for 2nd place. And Johannes, he lets him go. Will he try and switch back and get some DRS into turn 4? Will help them catch if they're sensible with their DRS usage. If they don't hold each other up, they could close at 0.5 second gap. And Johannes just sitting back. He will have to hope that Jake has some pace. Here comes Tony again, passing Gareth this time, and up into 7th place. Oh, look at that, very wide for Risky. That's not going to help his cause. And let's say he's got good track position, so yeah, we'll hope he doesn't do that too much. That train being led by Risky, as I say, and Casper at the back of it. So it's a 5-car train. Casper, he'll want to be starting to make some moves. Not getting too detached from the fellow medium runners up ahead of him. Kieran is
Ben Harris
still
having
in...
an awful lap, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to say Kieran's still in that free air, so I'm still trying to keep an eye on what he's up to, just in case the undercut does happen, because Corey and Johannes have now pitted. So we'll see where he comes out, Kieran, in comparison to them. Sullivan, well, he may find the cars racing him, or pit, apart from Tony, who's going to go past him. And in fact, Gareth and Ben and Casper, they've all actually stayed down that straight, which means they'll move way up the order. Jake leads for now, Pete second, and then obviously the pitters are happening behind. Corey's on mediums, but Johannes is on softs. That's a mistake. That is a categorical, massive mistake.
Yeah, far too early for that. Gareth gets thrown risky, by the way. MK Bourne rejoins. But I think you're right, Owen. Lap 12 onto new set of softs. It's not going to work. These tyres have got to go to lap 29. Lap 30 even.
Yeah, 19 lap stint on these. That can't be possible. Not with any pace. And also, we're pointing out that Kieran, despite the early stop, is actually about 6 seconds behind, so the hards just don't have any pace. So that sort of confirms what I was thinking about these tyres, that you just don't want to be on them. And Kieran, he's going to be stuck on them for a while. And Jake does pit. Will Pete Knighton lead a lap? Yes, he will. Well, I say that. He should lead a lap. And has Risky had he's had a moment, Risky. Oh, that's a shame. He's been in the grass and I assume had a spin. Can't get a view of his front wing, but he's being challenged now, is he, by Corey. Hopefully he doesn't get in his way too much. He's got in his way. And Johannes on his sauce. Well, he's got to get a move on, hasn't he? And, well, Sullivan's mistake may be to affect Corey, because he's defending this. He's using all the ERS he has, and Corey's up the inside. Nearly contact. He gets through. Composed driving from the net race leader to get ahead of Risky, who's had a very, very bad lap.
Sure has. And now, I mean, I can't imagine he's going to hold Johannes up, because he'll want to make it interesting himself and see if him and Jake can get through. But Sullivan's got nowhere to let them go. Johannes is going to try around the outside, is he? Inside. Don't
agree with that. I don't think that was the best move. As
no,
a bite
to Corey's up the road again.
Yeah, just making sure that Pete does lead this lap. It'll either be him or Tony. It's going to be quite close. It is Pete. Just Pete. A bite. Look at this. Here comes Johannes and Jake. That could have been an airplane crash. As Risky nearly turned into Jake there, and Jake doesn't go for the move on Johannes. That's disappointing. What was the yellow flag for then? It's for OKK, I think. I'm not just saying that.
Kieran.
Well, it was OKK. He's got grass on his tyres, so. But I don't know. I only caught a recovering car. Jimmy Wrights and I also got past on Risky. Corey is already outside of DRS threat from Johannes, so he's got to use these softs to affect. And the problem he's got, surely it's going to be a 2-stint run on softs. 2 quick fastest, but I just don't think you're going to make the time up. Maybe if you're in Canada or something, you could do something like this, but I don't know. I'm not convinced by this at all from Johannes. I just don't think even Corey could pull this off of his pace. I just don't, passing the cars is just not going to be a possibility without losing too much time. And Gareth, by the way, he's doing a decent job. And it has to be said, actually, he's the one who's giving hope here for Johannes. Because, granted, somebody's out under safety car, but he's on to his 15th lap on these softs, and he's challenging for the race lead. So, maybe they will last. I hope they last. Because it would really ruin the race if Johannes can't make these tyres last for 19 laps.
Gareth's the only man I know 57 laps in his Cup Series career, but actually led more races than laps that he's led. He loves staying out for a lap led, doesn't he? And he'll want one here as well. It means anything anymore. There's no points awarded for it, but purely just to be race leader, the Jacko Ball main man, he would love to do so, and especially as well putting a move on Tony Kirkpatrick in the process. Why not? We're going to stay on board with him, Owen. Let's see if he can get this move done on the run up to the line.
Well, he knows he can't beat. Knows he can't beat him at football, so he's got to beat him on the track, and
Oh,
that's just...
easy. There you go.
Yeah, but it's incredible,
That
isn't
counts.
it? He's gone further on softs than Tony and Casper have on mediums. I mean, and Ben Harrett on his Joker, he's also making these work, and what's his gap to Corey now? He's being caught, but I mean, he can make something happen.
Race leader.
He's net race leader, but he will lose it pretty soon, I would have thought. But I'm gonna dig into some teams again, just in case there's anyone he can help here or anyone who can help him. Not that the teams matter all that much. Johannes is his only ally, Ben Harrett, in this leading fight, and he's on softs. So if he could do something against Corey, that would be quite beneficial to both of these guys in second and in fourth at the moment. And Gareth, he'll, I suppose, continue for as long as he can.
Go
He'd
on,
love a safety car, wouldn't it?
perhaps.
Really. After the disappointment of Spa, where the accident happened 2 laps from the end, it was like, what's the point of that? So, come on, do it for us. Stop the field spread. Pathetic.
Gareth is going to pit, which I think will give Ben Harrett.
He pits as well.
Never mind.
Just, I wanted to point out, by the way, Tony went on to hards and Casper went on to softs. So there's 2 ends of the spectrum to look at. We'll keep an eye on those 2. Interesting strategy then. I guess you only get 1 set of mediums is what I'm getting from that, because I'm surprised Tony doesn't go into another set, or even just go 2 sets of softs, frankly, but because they seem to be able to last. So, yeah. Puzzling strategy, but every time I say it I get proven wrong. Anyway, Casper and Tony are ahead of Mike. They can fight on their own now for what is currently 6th place. And Ben Harrett, obviously what he's doing here with his pit stop, I mean, it is an undercut. That is what it is, an undercut. He gets a very, very long undercut on Corey and Co, because they've got to go to at least lap 30. And if he gets a safety car, which closes him up at any point between now and then, he's looking good. So, that's a big if, but let's not dwell on that. Let's look at the fight for the lead, shall we? Here comes Johannes. Corey is D-rating. Johannes is close to D-rating, and Jake's nowhere near either of them at the moment. So it's very much a 2-horse race for now. Come on, Johannes. I want to see some racing. Give us some overtaking. He's using the ERS. Yes! He's using all the ERS. And Corey defends inside. Johannes doesn't go outside. Corey had it covered off. He didn't want to risk a collision there, did Johannes, because the gap was very quickly closing between the two. And that crash there wouldn't have really helped anyone, would it? Here comes Casper on Tony, and, well, if he can't get through on soft, that's bad news for him, isn't it? And he can't at the moment. And Gareth Hall is ahead of Mike now as well, so he'll be catching up onto this. And he must feel confident he can challenge Tony. He was relatively close to him on softs against mediums. It's now mediums against hards, and Tony now with a penalty as well will improve everyone's mood around him. Johannes has got to make this move soon. I say that. He doesn't really, because he'll never be able to pull away, I don't think, but just for the sake of fun, let's see a move for the race lead. And it's Johannes at the halfway point who takes the lead off Corey Dalton. Will Corey be able to fight back? This will give him a good chance to test out a bit of his racecraft, because it'll all come down to the closing stages of this race. And Corey hasn't got the power, he hasn't got the ERS for it.
It has brought Jake back into it though. Jamie Wright sadly no longer a feature as he's all over the curb. But yeah, Jake will be sniffing this one. He's also chasing 20 Cup Series wins in his career, just like the man behind him. But look at this, freeway battle. Johannes not really part of it, unless he can do some miracles with those soft tyres to get them to lap 30.
I don't know, I feel Gareth's stint has given me hope that they might be able to make it. But then Singapore gives me a bit of anxiety that it won't, because obviously he pitted early on that day and it ruined everything. He would have won the race. So I really hope he's done his sums. He hasn't read he hasn't read laps 9 and 25 for the stage of having on laps 5 and 29, for instance. It's an easy mistake to make. But yeah, hopefully he knows what he's doing. But no fighting as of yet. I mean, it's hard to save ERS around here. So I think Jake he's doing well to have 50%. That's worth giving some attention to, as we see Casper. It took him 3 or 4 laps, I mean, to get this done. But he's finally got ahead of Tony on those hards, and he will disappear down the road. As Corey, they always close in towards turns 7 and 8, don't they? It's a very bad spot to catch cars here, and there's nothing that the drivers can really do to fight it. So you're watching Corey's got to go down to 2/10, and it's always somewhere where if you try and go with a move, it'll be an airplane crash, which is a shame. But yeah, Casper, he has to drive away from Tony here, surely. Because I think Tony must be hating it on these tyres. I don't think anyone can have enjoyment on them here. It's very much a 23 and 24 you'd have a good time on the hards, but I just don't think this generation of hard tyres is any good.
No, I don't ever recall a time when I was racing where the hard tyres were even a viable option on this game, in this era. Gap now 3/10. Corey just looks at the back of Johannes, but doesn't do anything with it. Jake, as you said, just sat there waiting for his moment. It is nice that we do have a battle, at least. The field spread is large, but not as bad as previous weeks. Corey to the outside, Johannes gives him room, but he'll retain P2. Is this starting to boil? We'd love a rivalry in the Cup Series, wouldn't we?
We would indeed. But once again, unfortunately for Corey, he gets closest when he's on the entry to turn 7, where or turn 6, sorry, where you just can't throw it up the inside. It's a lunatic would throw it up the inside, unless you're on the last lap, basically. I mean, if you are Corey, you do try and make Johannes struggle though, because you want to make sure his tyres are in as bad a condition as possible, really. And we do see punctures. I think, did we not see one last week, or was it in Spain for KK, I want to say, where tyres just ran out of life and punctured, straight up just punctured. So that can happen, and Johannes will be, well, will he be aware it can happen? I hope he's aware it can happen, because if it happens and he's not expecting it, it could be quite a horrible surprise. But yeah, 19 laps on these tyres, it could be quite tight for that, and that would be some drama. So yeah, he wants to make sure that doesn't happen. Casper is still not out of DRS range of Tony yet, by the way. I just want to point that out as he tries to catch up to Pete Knight, and he's just, poor Pete. He's had nothing to do all day. he hasn't seen a car in front of him since lap 3. He's not seen a car behind him since lap 3. So yeah, maybe he won't mind Casper catching up to him. We'll give him something to do for the first time today, as he trundles round in his Lotus colours.
It's a very happy P5, isn't it? Like, you know, it's one of those days you get the maximum out of the race. What's that, as 12 points for your season? But I'm sure he would like a little bit more excitement. I think he'd like a race win as well, dare I say. We were talking about that earlier on in the season. It hasn't come to fruition yet. As Corey gets close to the back of Johannes once again, Owen's already on board, I see. What do we see down into the turn 4 here? To the inside, perhaps. Not this time. Jake O'Sullivan waits for his moment.
Do you know what I see? I see 3-lap cars.
Rinse and repeat.
I see 3, well, not laps yet, but I see 3 cars are waiting, are lapping, and that's interesting, because that will give Johannes either a really big advantage from DRS, or he can catch them at the wrong point, and they're fighting as well, as we see Robin there.
Oh, he goes wide. Johannes, by the way, don't forget, he is German. The 3 in front of him are also German.
Yeah, but I
wonder if there's a little bit of national bias.
Oh, he's a big lock up there for Johannes as well. Will that keep him outside at a 1 second range to get DRS? He's used up all his ERS, and he's not got DRS. He may get it out of turn 1, but he's now running all out of energy. As we get a yellow flag in the middle sector, but here comes Corey running outside to turn 1 and 2. This is risky stuff, and he backs out of it. He's going to go for the switchback. He has Johannes on the ropes. I still don't think the race leader's within DRS range of those lap cars. He isn't. And Corey has a big chance here. He's going to have to go round the outside. Difficult move to make, but Johannes lets him go, and Corey retakes the lead, and he's the one who's going to have to tackle these back markers in front of him. 2 of which are on old hard compound tires as well, so they aren't going to be fast, Florian and Dustin.
And the rules state, Owen, you do not have to move out the way for a race leader.
Well,
Florian, however, does so.
Oh, for God's sake.
He gets well out the way as well. That's very nice of him. Next up is Dustin.
Just rip up his contract for the next few races there. He had one job, mate.
Send him back to Kia Series.
Unbelievable. Right. Will Corey get DRS on Dustin here? Yes, he will. So that sort of solves that problem as well. Unless Johannes, using double DRS, because obviously he gets to tow as well, can do something. Looks like Dustin's going to move out of the way. And Johannes just follows Corey into turn 1 and 2. And suddenly he's only got 5 more laps to survive on these, or 6 laps more to survive on these tyres. And he still looks competitive. But he doesn't go for the move. Again, maybe it's all about the end of the race. We saw it nearly cost Corey the win in Spain. Well, not really, but it put him in a little bit of bother by letting the guys around have undercuts for really no reason. So I don't think anyone's going to muck about with undercuts this week. So this top 3, they should all pit at the same time. Unless any of them would have to stack in the pits, but I don't know how they'd know that with any certainty. So yeah, I think they'll all be in lap 30, and maybe that's when we'll start to see the gloves come off. And it's when we'll see Jake O'Sullivan come into his own. He is nearly on 80% ERS. He's not been sandbagging as such, because I think even if he burned that whole battery now, he wouldn't get past. But at the end of the race, having that energy there, when the fighting starts to get intense, it's useful to have it.
Yep, here's the run as well. Johannes better through turn 1. Surely he sends it on Corey. At some point you have to. Lap 26 at 36. He's sniffing it, but he's not going for it.
He's no energy. He's just got
in turn 4.
No ERS. It's so hard to save ERS. It is worth pointing out that obviously on this game you've got 2 modes. Medium, which is a standard, and overtake. There's no none option, and there's no hot lap option. So what it means is once you're out, you're out. You're not going to save that ERS back up. You're going to be hideously slow if you do that, and you can't just do it through one sector, whack it on 0, save 40%. It's just not possible on this game. So that's another reason why Jake's massive amount of ERS he has at the moment is such an advantage to him for later on, because the guys ahead of him, I think he knows they're not going to get the ERS back. It's just not going to happen. As Johannes on DRS again, that's all he has to rely on is the DRS. He's got a bit more fuel in reserve than Corey as well. He's got about 0.4 of a lap extra in his car, which he can obviously burn in rich mix, whereas Corey will have to save a little bit. And Jake is around the same as Corey on fuel, but into turn 4 again. The straight's just not long enough for Johannes to consider the move. The pace of these 3 though is incredible, because they're pulling about a second lap on Jamie Wright, who in fairness he's now caught up to the lapped cars, but that's not why he's lost all that time. It's just pure pace for the guys ahead. Interestingly, we weren't really paying attention to it, but Casper's been re-overtaken by Tony, so yeah, his chase after Pete Knighton's not going great, although he is still catching along with Tony onto the back of the man in P5, who, let's say, may finally get some action in this race, as the fight for last place is being harshly fought here between Florian and Dustin. Look at this, they're side by side everywhere. Wouldn't it be terrible if they came together? I'd
hate it.
That'd be horrible, wouldn't it? What a bad look that would be for the league as well, you know, losing the 100% finishing record and everything. It's so terribly sad. Oh, look at that! Here comes Pete Knighton.
Done well to stay in front.
Oh, well, Robin's got his new sauce on, hasn't he? Every time I see a driver move over for another driver, it's so disappointing. Stop being so nice. As Jake closed in there to the back of that is a car off. That is a car off with no front wing on Mike Kettleborn's Spiker imitation, which is a virtue. That's useless, isn't it? It's just useless, isn't it? What's the point of that?
It starts to save ERS though.
Well, that's a good point, but again, you don't have mode 0, so All this will be about the restart. And the problem with this is that if this had happened on lap 30, then it would have, kept everything nice and equal. But this is basically just going to delay the pit stops a little bit because, no one can really race at the minute. And a full safety car would have made this really interesting. I bet Ben Harrett's fuming. He'd be fuming that it wasn't a full safety car because that would have closed him right in at the perfect time. But that's not how it's paid out. We've gone green. Guess who's spared? Not a surprise, is it?
It's not Michael O'Keke.
That's a big accident. Mike's
traffic.
lost it on the way out of the pits, and that might be a safety car this time. But look at this wheel binding between Robin, I think that was, and the race leader and Corey Dalton. And that got very dramatic very quickly for Johannes as well, getting through. How's that not a safety car? Seriously, how's that not a safety car? He's parked in the middle of the track, is Mike Keltborn. He binned it on the way out of the pits, similar to what we saw Michael O'Keke do here last season. And has not brought a safety car out. Beggars belief.
It's just not working out for us, is it? By the way, stage point at the end of this lap. Corey Dalton looks like he's about to take his 5th of the season, his 5th stage point. Unless Johannes gets the run out of this corner, it's nothing special really, is it? And away goes Corey. I think he's even got DRS on the car in front. He does indeed. It's Matt Lester. You remember him? He is still a full-time driver. You can hear my
important work phone calls, yes. The international phone. You can't ignore that. That's grounds for firing, I'm afraid, that is. As Corey Dalton passes Lesty, and looks like Johannes might have to do some defending here. I mentioned Jake had extra ERS. It's all gone. He's wasted it all. And he's not made any overtakes for us. That hasn't helped, has it? He may have to go for this into 7. But again, how do you do that with Matt Lester in front of you? And the problem is, they've let Corey Dalton get away. So, well, that's looking good for Corey, isn't it?
Sure is. Pit stops to come, though. That might be the only saving grace that these guys have. There is also another lapped car. It's Mr. Lewis in front of Mr. Dalton. Yellow flags. A car off. Who is it? Kieran Spears.
Not even broken the whole front wing off. He's only broken half of it off, Kieran. How have you hit Armco and not been retired? Pathetic. Lucky he gets to pit this lap because he's 20 seconds ahead of Michael O'Keke, who may or may not have taken his drive-through penalty yet. But anyway, leaders pitting. And Jake, very late on the brakes. Another yellow flag. They're all trying to lose it. Who was it this time? Was it Dustin? He might have just been letting someone through. But let's see. No stacking, I don't think, in the pits. It'll all be fresh softs, apart from Johannes, because he already used the fresh set of softs. Yeah, I don't know about that. Will fresh mediums now be the ticket? I just don't know. The field, as per usual, spreads a little bit here as well. So if Johannes can stay in DRS, he's done very well here. And he has, and he's got it, the rear wing open. I think Coy might have actually as well. But Jake as well, he's going to get DRS, but he's stuck behind, who's that, Florian, but he's going to let him through, isn't he? So, Tony.
Race on.
Tony's now the race leader, but you can see those hards just didn't have any pace at all, did they? He's nearly lost a pit stop to Corey and co. But yeah, this will be interesting. What on earth can Johannes do on these tires? I mean, I just don't think he's done the right strategy today, to be honest with you. I said it the second he went for it as well, so I don't know. I
mean, he did well to get them that far, but yeah, that's all I can say about that. Corey Dalton leads lap 31. But on his way to the most laps led, which is not a point anymore. Jake has fallen away as well from Johannes, so it looks to be a 2-car battle at this point with inside of 5 laps to go. Another lapped car, it's Bazza
this time. That goes well, doesn't it?
Yeah. Bazza openly said, I'm not just going to move out of the way for anyone, whether they're overtaking him or lapping him. However, he lied to us.
Goodness sake!
Oh, for fuck's sake.
ridiculous, right?
I don't agree with that.
What's his problem? How inconsiderate. We do have a pipe. We actually do have a Piper P5 here. We should probably look at it as well because Casper has ended up ahead of P9, although he has got a penalty. Pete's broke his front wing now, so that'll be a difficult 5 laps for him. Tony as well is all at the back of Ben Harrett, who, well, he could end up finishing P5 here with how the penalties are working out, with how P9's damage is working out. It just depends on how big his penalty is, I suppose. Yeah, 3 seconds for the penalties for him and the guys around him, but he's on the oldest tyres. His Joker strategy, not going too bad, but I mean, at the moment, he's P8. He started P8, so he's not really moved him anyway so far. There's still time left, though, as he goes into turn 1. And Pete picks up his own penalty, so that whole quartet now have some penalties to play with. And they are the closest fight on track at the moment. Corey is he's going to win the race, isn't he? He's got the tyres for it now, which is the crucial thing. Even when he didn't have the tyres, he was still leading, so he will be on for race win number 4 in 9 races. Formidable form
for the season, which would translate to 15 all-time. He would rematch Arnoud, who of course won on Tuesday night in Belgium. They'd both be on 15 together. Another lap down. Run out of things to say, haven't we, Owen?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something. We can watch the fight with P6. Well, there's not really a fight, is it? Because one of the cars involved has damage. I've got to say, this is a bit of an unexpected result. I mean, Johannes expected a penalty. That's definitely killed it off. And Jamie Wright's 10 seconds off. So all that's going to do is condemn the man who may well lose second place on track anyway to a definite third, Johannes. But yeah, it's surprising how big the field spread is on this, because what it does mean is that the drivers have genuinely invested the time into it, which is good for them. But it just seems they're so much better now than they were when it was the active game. So yeah, I mean, you can't question the commitment. But what it has led to is we've got some very standard races at the moment. I'm sure once playoffs and all that get into play, it always livens up. But and we'll always have a Dua Lipa concert waiting for you, so you know there's also that. As we have 2 laps to go. Maybe that's what we could do. We could have some Jacko radio in the background and just get just get Dua Lipa on loop. Really, that'll solve these problems. As into turn 4. I mean, the problem with Jake now is he's got no real incentive to pass, has he, Johannes? Stay where he is, take an easy second place, and move on, really, and into the week and a half break before we return in Hungary, and then it'll be where will it be? It'll be USA Short and then Austria. When it comes to the club car shootout, by the way, we've not actually mentioned that, but it's completely there's a reason it's pointless, because Ben Shaw's not here and Arnaud's not here, which means that Kieran and Jimmy Wright have won their part in semi-finals. This means they'll be into the final, and that's over 3 races. It'll be more important then. But anyway, Jacko.
Yes, well, it's that time again, folks. It's 1 lap to go in Brazil, but it's not sponsored by Credit One Bank, because they said the races are too boring these days, so we don't want any part in your franchise. So here we are, sponsorless, as Corey Dalton brings us on to the final lap.
That is the problem.
1.7 second lead.
If
Jake has a penalty.
If they took us to court, they'd fall asleep. It probably can be sponsored by Credit One Bank now, because they're not going to watch this far into the stream, are they? But anyway, Jake now may well be regretting the fact that he wasn't going for moves earlier on, because he now has to, and he's run out of time and opportunity. Casper as well may have just run out of time to get past Tony, and Jake. Yeah, that's reckless, isn't it, to pick up a penalty this late on into proceedings? There's absolutely no need for it whatsoever, and an unusual error, but he will have DRS up to the line. He's saved some ERS. He may have a chance. No one's going to get near Corey Dalton, though. It is 4 wins out of 9 in Season 11. And Jakey tries to close up to Johannes, but doesn't get there in time. And it'll be 2nd and 3rd for Johannes and Jake. Jimmy Wright ended up nowhere near. The pace, like I say, for the top 3 was very impressive. But you can see, he's still happy, Jimmy, with P4. Tony will cross the line in P5, but then the penalty will take him down behind Casper. Pete will be 7th. I think that's where he qualified, isn't it? Same for Ben, who falls down behind Gareth. And it's a long way back before we get to Kieran Spears. 43 seconds.
Wow. What a fall off.
He's drifting around now as well. He's mucking about, isn't he?
Oh.
Yeah.
Does OKK get a top 10?
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, keep going. Get OKK's. Look, I'm avoiding he was there, Michael. He didn't want any part of that accident. And Risky may get involved as well. Are we trying to manufacture some race? Oh no, hold on. Sorry, there's only 2 cars still going because everyone from Risky down to Bazza, Robin, Lesty, Dustin, and Florian were lapped. So Kieran doing all this cocking about. Get on with it. You've wasted enough of our time. Go on, beat you. No. Well, here comes OKK.
OKK's just
Obliterated his win, hasn't it?
in 4th gear. A top 10 on his 200th
He's out of
appearance
fuel,
in
I
the
think, isn't he?
JACKOCAR League. Is he out of fuel? Okay.
Might be. It's got a red light on his fuel.
Still a top 10.
Yes, and Kieran, I think he's realised he's the only car still running, so maybe he's just not messing about. Trying to take some cars
Points
out.
on the board, yep, that will count.
Well, that was the worst race yet.
Well, I think we should.
I love
get this over and
JACKOCAR.
done with, Owen.
It's my favourite. Do you know what?
We're
Actually,
gonna have to come up with something. What?
Well, we've got 2 options, right? We end the stream now disappointed, or we keep the cameras rolling for our Jacko Ball match.
Oh, I like that.
Because I've had no entertainment for the last hour and a half.
Well, I'll tell you what, that sounds like a bloody good idea. It's a week and a half break, no one cares. Owen, let's go to FC25.
I hope my stream doesn't end on me just by changing games, because I think the viewers who've stuck around deserve something something nice for their eyes. The reason we're playing our Jacko Ball game now is because Jacko he's on holiday, isn't he? So can't do anything. So you sent a very polite message earlier asking me to play. Are you the home team or am I the home team?
I'll be the home team, it's not a problem.
Lovely.
I'm just going to send a tweet out so that